Hey, what's going on, my nerds and collectors alike? We are back again, doing another review from the Infinity Saga line of Marvel Legends. This time we are taking a look at Odin from the first Thor movie. Taking a look at the packaging here. Once again, we have the Infinity Saga. This time it is Odin from the movie Thor. We've got Odin in the bubble here with some alternate hands. Looks like a summoning or a resting hand. We've got a couple of spear holding hands, a fist. We do have that infamous alternate head sculpt of him smiling, it seems. We do have Gungnir down there on the side, which we finally have Odin's spear Gungnir, so that's a very exciting addition. We do know that the helmet is removable, so we will definitely be taking a look at that. On the sides of the packaging here, once again, we have Infinity Saga with the sides of the poster in a nice holographic form. And there's the other side. On the back of the packaging here, we can see that this is from the first Thor movie, from the Marvel Legends series. It is Odin. And we have a small bio here that says, King of Asgard, protector of the Nine Realms, and father of Thor, Odin has learned to appreciate peace over the centuries. Down here, you've got your warnings, small parts. On the bottom here, you've got your barcodes, warnings, legalese, all the fun stuff. Not for children under 3 years. So let's crack this guy open and see what the Allfather can bring to the table. Alright, so here we have the Allfather out of his packaging here, with a couple of his alternate accessories on. Taking a closer look, just to get it out of the way, yeah, there's his smiling head sculpt, which is odd to see because that is very unfitting of Odin's character and kind of doesn't make any sense at all. So I wanted to show that off first just to get it out of the way. We do have a scar over his left eye and obviously his eye patch on the right, which mirrors his son's here. Well, Thor mirrors his father later down the line when he gets his eye cut out by Hela in the third Thor movie. So there are both of the gods with one eye. The hair is done very nice. We do have a white plastic with a grayish dry brushing over it, it seems. Or I could be wrong. That's actually an off-white with a white dry brush. Or with a white dry brush. My apologies, guys. So that's pretty well done. It's just the expression's really weird to see on an Odin figure, but you get what you get. So just to go ahead and get that out of the way here. There we go. That's more like it. So now you have a more stern, more neutral Odin. We do have a nice bronze around the connectors for his cape there, and they also line the detail of his armor, which are also worn down a little bit, which means these were probably a garnish. So you do have worn down bronze on the circles they like to wear. You also have bronze coming around the edges there, and also on the gauntlets. You do have some silver armor pieces up on his biceps there, and that actually is on both sides, so you can see that there. You can see it better on this side, his nice little shoulder pad there. On this side, obviously, just due to the sculpting, it is covered. You got nice, looks like padded pants there. And his boots are fairly simple, but they do have silver picked out at the top. And then they just go down to a very, very simple squared toe boot. The cape is nicely sculpted. Thankfully, it is in a fairly soft rubber plastic, so it does get out of the way for most things you need it to. It does not come off, however, there is a plug back here. I don't want to pull up too much and risk ripping that, but there is a peg and a plug, and that just sits in there for when you want that there. I have seen people take this off and replace it with cloth. I don't think I'll probably end up doing that, just because this is soft enough to kind of get out of the way for what you need it to do. The only thing that he's not going to be able to do is if you have a throne piece for, say, a diorama, he will not be able to sit in that. So that is one thing that does suck, but he does come with Gungnir and his helmet, so this is armored up Odin more in an action-oriented kind of appearance, which I think is what we all wanted anyway. So getting into articulation, we do have the Star Wars style of neck on here. However, it is a little bit hindered. So with this head, he does get to look down a good amount. Looking up, if you stretch it, it's fairly decent. With the helmet on, you're not going to be able to get that. I did just be able to do that with the halving look. This is the only head that allows the helmet to be placed on top there, but that does look very nice. So with the helmet on, you do have a little bit of a hindrance on looking up. Put that back on there. That was my bad. He can still look down, though. The helmet is made of a soft rubber, so if you have any warpage on there, I kind of have a little bit, tiny bit of warpage in the back there. Just a hair dryer or some hot water or something. Just quickly hit that with some heat, and it'll go back to shape, no problem. Going ahead and taking the head off here, just so you can get a look. So the base of the neck is also on a ball joint. Let me see if I can shift that for you so you can see. It's like the Star Wars The Black Series style of necks, which is very nice because of all the hindrance. He will definitely need that. And then, of course, we have the dumbbell joint at the top. And we do get a little bit of tilt, not too terribly much. His hair is kind of soft, so it does want to get out of the way, but at the same time, it still does give some hindrance. So, neck is, it's okay. Arms could spin 360, but they are hindered by the cape. I'm going to do the articulation on this side, just because on this side is a little bit hindered. But that being said, this is still soft rubber, so you can kind of get that up and out of the way, just not as much as on this side. So just for the demonstration purposes, I will be using articulation on this arm. His arms go up just a little under 90 degrees. They do rotate, and the shoulder pads are on that ring system that they introduced in the Black Series, where it sits up under the joint, so that way it rotates with them, and then it's a soft rubber, so it gets out of the way. He does have a bicep swivel, which does try to catch on the armor a little bit right there, so do be careful. He has pinless joints, which is very nice, and he has double jointed elbows, which bend very nicely. On his fisted hand here, we have a hinge for in and out movement, as well as rotation. On the spear holding hands, which we will bring one right here, we do have an up and down hinge, which is very nice to see, because all weapon holding hands should definitely come with an up and down hinge for action poses and the like. And just as a demonstration, he does hold the spear very well. It is a very sturdy grip. That's not going to drop at all, which is always good to see. We'll get more into that when we get to accessories. He has a diaphragm joint, which allows the All-Father to bend forward only that far. The belt is soft. It is a soft overlay piece, but there is still hard plastic underneath. He does get to crunch back a decent amount. Not the best, not the worst. And, of course, we have some tilting in there, and that also will provide your rotation. And as you can tell, that's on a ratcheted peg, which is interesting. Get that straightened up there. The All-Father can kick forward 90 degrees. He can kick back ever so slightly. He can kick out a little bit past 45. There is a thigh rotation. We do have double jointed knees. but just due to the sculpt, it does crash a little bit, so you only get that much bend. We have a hinge at the ankle that moves down this far. Luckily, the back of the boot is soft, so that way it does allow the foot to kind of move that up out of the way. And then we also have a forward hinge that far. Sadly, the sculpt does crash in on that. If you're wondering, we do actually have a boot cut, so that is on the kind of ball joint in there that rotates this way and then allows you to change the orientation of how you want the foot hinge to be. And then we also have an ankle pivot, which is always good. So the Allfather does have a decent amount of articulation. Getting into his accessories here, we will remove, he has a fisted hand. And he also has a loose grip, kind of relaxed and gesturing hand. And those get to be replaced with 2 spear holding hands, which again have the up and down hinges. So there's that. Obviously he has the alternate head sculpt, but this is the head sculpt I prefer. He does have his helmet, which is cast in a nice bronzish gold plastic and is a soft rubber. So that slides on to Odin's head without issue. And then, of course, we get his spear Gungnir. And he can hold that without issue. We'll get him holding Gungnir. And there we have that. And thanks to the hinges, you can have him hold it pretty much however you want. So we'll get that nice on display there. And Gungnir does have runes etched into the blade and along the shaft, which is a very nice touch. So going ahead and getting Odin standing up here, we will get into some size comparisons. First up, we will do his adopted son, Loki. So there is Endgame Loki, which was before they kind of did the size reduction on Asgardians. So Loki is a little bit taller than Odin here, and he's having a hard time standing. As is Odin, apparently. Everything's falling over, huh? Let's see there. That's better. And then we'll have Loki stand next to him. So he is taller than Odin in his Endgame, or not Endgame, in his Infinity War appearance. My apologies. Like I said, this was before kind of they did the size reduction on the Asgardian characters. Here we have Loki from the Loki TV series. And he is roughly the same height as Odin in this appearance, which I think is more accurate. Pulling Loki aside there. Here we have his Bloodborne son, Thor. And this is the Endgame Build-A-Figure Bro Thor, which I dubbed the Lebowski Thor. This is after the size reduction for the Asgardians, so this is actually proper Thor size. Thor still being taller than his father. Getting into some taller characters here. We have my kit-bashed Endgame Thor, just because I don't have the Infinity Saga version yet. And this is before the size reduction, so you can see Thor is massive next to his father. For no reason. They kind of just made the Asgardian characters really large for the MCU line for a while, and then they decided to fix the scale on it. Not sure why, but there we go. And last but not least, here we have Odin next to his firstborn daughter Hela, the original owner of Mjolnir. And here he is next to Scourge the Executioner. Again, Hela is very tall next to her father, just due to the old scaling. Scourge, for some reason, is about a little tiny bit taller than Odin, so he's roughly more of regular height. Not sure what was going on there, but that's what we got. So taking those two away. Overall, I really like the figure a lot. He definitely looks very nice, and he's a character that we've needed in the MCU line for a very long time. The articulation is pretty good. The only thing that we could have gotten really is maybe a butterfly joint and a soft goods cape. But those aren't major complaints, because as I said, the cape is soft enough to kind of get out of the way of what you want. Butterfly joints, we see them here and there, usually on more acrobatic figures, so... Or acrobatic, I apologize. So, you know, decent stuff there. He looks fantastic. He definitely has a good amount of articulation packed in there. We do get some pretty good accessories with the helmet and the spear and some alternate hands, which is very nice. Alternate hands are always welcome. The alternate head sculpt, I'm not going to complain too much because at least they added something in, even if it is weird. So we could use that as a kit bash on the line or do whatever. Maybe if you want to do the old man Odin as he's passing away, you could kind of use this and then just, I don't know, sculpt a little string across his eye there to make it look like he's wearing that cloth eye patch. Who knows? But this figure, definitely recommend. Would definitely pick up. He could go in basically any display, even if you wanted to do an alternate timeline where Odin's at the final battle in Endgame or doing whatever. Definitely a great figure. I do recommend. Before we go, want to say that this channel and all of its content is not for anybody under the ages of 13 years old. Stay safe, everybody. Happy collecting.